Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 1 minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Coulson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes, sir.
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah. You've built a love, but that love falls apart. Your little piece of heaven turns too dark. Listen to your heart. When he's calling for you, listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why, but listen to your heart before you tell Nick goodbye. I got so caught up in one line from this minute that I didn't.
I thought you were actually going to go full Shatner on that one. Listen to your heart.
I just tried, but I couldn't do that justice. That's a whole thing in itself. We're going to talk about it. There's just a line in this minute that is delivered with such meaning.
Pathos.
And I'm not sure what the meaning was.
No. It's just like, it's one of those things where you think like someone, as a writer, like you come up with like, ooh, that's a good turn of phrase. How can I write this entire scene so that will come and make sense?
Right? Like, what? Anyway.
Kill your darlings, my friend, here at minute 69. Nice. Of Iron Man 2 from 2010, director Jon Favreau, who has nothing to do with this podcast and probably will never have anything to do with this podcast.
Oh, but we would welcome.
We would welcome him with open
all four arms.
That's right. 4 open arms and 2 open beards.
And we would listen to his heart. Which, by the way,
we would listen to his heart.
The song that I performed is, of course, "Listen to Your Heart" by Swedish pop music duo Roxette. Originally released in Sweden in September '88, didn't hit the number 1 in both the United States and Canada until November 1989.
That's right. It was one of the things in high school that was ubiquitous.
Yes.
You could not escape Roxette. They were everywhere.
Yes.
Then I think they gave up their title to Ace of Base.
Yeah.
Who were then ubiquitous.
Then it went to the next thing.
Yeah, it's like they just keep handing off the title. Started with ABBA, and it just kept moving on from there. So what are we talking about? So here we are at minute 69. We're continuing on from where we left off, which is the powwow between Nick Fury and Tony Stark. And the exposition dump just keeps on a-dumpin'. So we're going to finally get to the end of that line. So Nick Fury had said, oddly out of context, he said, you were the only person with the means and knowledge to finish what he started. And Tony, surprised, as all of us are, even still, 10 years later, still surprised by this, he says, he said that? And Fury says, right. Are you that guy? Are you? This is like pure Coach Carter right here. This is like motivation. Because if you are, then you can solve the riddle of your heart. And my God, like Samuel, this is why you get a Samuel L. Jackson. This is why you pay a Samuel L. Jackson. This is why you sign Samuel L. Jackson to a 9-picture deal, because he can deliver a line like that and have you go, yeah. And then he gets this way, and you read it back and you go, wait, what? Because if you are, then you can solve the riddle of your heart.
Okay, what is this about? Does anybody have a theory?
I think that it sounds like one of those lines that after they wrote it, that Justin and John probably high-fived each other. Oh man, that totally kicks it. Yeah, woo!
Can I tell you the craziest theory you're ever going to hear about that line? I believe that line is inspired by Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 26.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
not 25:17.
Well, wait. No, that's why I think it's here. Because Ezekiel 25:17 from Pulp Fiction, of course, right?
Yeah.
Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 26 is, I will give you a new heart and a new spirit I will put within you. I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. I think that's
flesh.
The
very
heart of
fleshy
stone.
verse there.
Flesh.
No, I get it, I
yes,
get it.
a lot of flesh. Yeah, flesh appears a lot in the Old Testament. Well, in the New Testament too. It's kind of a theme in the Bible. but anyway, if you're familiar with this, I think that's the inspiration for this line. And if it is, and I've just read a couple different things online. People have talked about this. Like, where did this come from? Because it's so poetic in a conversation that did not ask for any poetry.
No, Nick is not a poetry kind of guy.
What's going on? So my theory is that they were like, hey, in this scene, can you find something else from Ezekiel that I can like spout off? And they went, we will try, sir. And this is what they got.
So for those of you who don't know, that Ezekiel 25:17 is the Bible verse that Samuel L. Jackson's character Jules quotes in Pulp Fiction. And of course, it is 90% made up. So it's on the soundtracks too. Like basically Quentin took the beginnings of a verse and then just completely went off on his own. And also for those of you who have studied the Bible, as Rob and I have done, sometimes unwillingly, they're like Bible verses are traditionally short, and like to have like 5 or 6 lines in one, like no, they would break that up into other ones. But that's the thing is I listened to that soundtrack 1,000 times, where I have that entire fake verse memorized.
Well, the vengeance will be laid upon someone.
That's right. That's right. And just as a further call forward, when we see Nick Fury's quote unquote grave, the Bible verse that is on Nick Fury's grave in at the end of Winter Soldier is Ezekiel 25:17. So it's gonna follow him around.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
No clue. This line.
Exactly. It's such
amazing.
Not a Nick Fury line.
He tries though, and it's delivered. And then the best thing is about it is he delivers it, and you just turn.
Just let it hang there.
It hangs, and then we cut to Tony, and Tony's just like,
okay.
No.
Because Tony like gives it a beat and then goes, I don't know where you get your information, but he wasn't my biggest fan.
Oh.
And Fury says, what do you remember about your dad? And Tony says, he was cold. He was calculating. He never told me he loved me. He never even told me he liked me. So it's a little tough for me to digest what you're telling me. He said the whole future was riding on me and he's passing it down. I don't get that. You're talking about a guy whose happiest day was when he shipped me off to boarding school. So Fury says, that's not true. Tony says, well, then clearly you knew my dad better than I did. And Fury says, matter of fact, I did. He was one of the founding members of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then at that point, he's like, and now it's time for me to go.
I'm done.
All right, time's up. Like, I literally think he was like, I have 2.5 minutes for this conversation, and it's up. Like, because like, I don't think he was doing that for dramatic effect. He was just like, and that's our time. Like, like a good therapist. Like, that's our time. Gotta go.
Well, no, see it. I got it a little bit.
You think the other way around?
Well, no, I think you're right. But I think what happens here, and I'm reading into this, I think this is where the conversation where Nick went, we're starting to wade into me being a father figure to you.
And that is not what's happening here.
And now we're done.
Yeah.
And now I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So
I am not your father's surrogate.
Yes.
I got an appointment. I gotta go.
Right.
So yes, he literally says, I got a 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so Tony's like, well, wait, what? So yeah, I love it. Nick is just like assuming that Tony's on board or does not care. And like, he'll catch up. So he's like, okay, you're good, right? Like he could not be more dismissive and like focused on something else. Like he's barely even looking at him as he's like, as the agents are bringing something in and moving around. And, he says, you got this, right? Right? As he's sort of like walking out the door. Tony's going, God, what? I don't even know what I'm supposed to get. And so Fury says, Natasha will remain afloat at Stark with her cover intact. You remember Agent Coulson, right? And ladies and gentlemen, it's Phil Coulson. Woo! Mr. Clark Gregg. So we're going to get a lot more into him tomorrow because we just see him sort of standing there too. But this is his second appearance in the MCU because he skipped Incredible Hulk because he was doing a lot of other stuff and he didn't have time to jet off to Rio. Brazil.
A couple of things just in this whole movement here as Nick's leaving. And of course, there's this great choreography of 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. agents bringing in a large sort of modern looking trunk, right?
Yep.
And laying it down.
Natasha comes in sort of from the back as well.
Natasha, they've all come in from inside. And one thing we didn't mention in the last minute, but just to notice, is that while they're having this conversation on what is the remnants of this kitchen area, balcony area, there are 2 SHIELD agents stationed on the edges of the balcony. One is looking through binoculars, apparently keeping things secure, which, okay,
Making
sure.
sure, like, let's say a helicopter with missiles just fly up and...
Spoiler for a future episode, future season, good Lord. So, no, but we've got those. So we do have a couple of SHIELD agents. We don't know exactly. These are just exterior extras. There's nobody. We have no idea.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to note is that the robe that Tony is wearing.
That's true. Yeah, we got to mention that.
So this is funny. And actually you wouldn't have known in the previous minute, you wouldn't have actually known it's a robe because he's been seated the whole time. But now when he stands up as he's getting ready to leave. So I couldn't find the actual the fabric or anything, but it's a really nice kind of like a copper black sort of floral print. But amusingly, do you know this is not the only time this robe shows up in the Marvel universe? That's
true. Chronologically, it shows up later, but I mean, like in terms of the movie release, but in terms of timeline, this actually is a hand-me-down because this is Howard Stark's robe.
I mean, this is great though. Like the way that this is done. Like, what is this? This is appeared in a Agent Carter episode, right?
Yep. Dominic Pierce when he was playing Howard Stark in Agent Carter, like when he's at Stark, like whatever the Stark, not this house, because this was Tony built this one, but the original Stark Manor, like he's lounging around by the pool wearing this robe. It was a really nice callback forward thing that they did.
Well, and what an awesome thing, like not necessarily known at the time they did this, the fact that he's talking smack about his dad the whole time as he's sitting there in one of his dad's robes. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I love when all stuff like that connects.
I know, right? Just and adding these multiple layers to it. I just love that.
Awesome. Yeah. Nicely done.
Yeah. So Nick's out of there for the most part, but Agent Coulson and Natasha Romanoff are still hanging around. So we're going to hear what they have to say in minute 70. In the meantime,
we'll talk about Natasha and Coulson and see what's going on with them. And this case, it's kind of like a cool looking suitcase that they've brought in, which I'm sure we're going to find out what's in there. But I would imagine that maybe inside there is maybe merch. Ooh. Do you think that they might have anything?
Some official, because I really like having logos and stuff on this. Maybe there's some official SHIELD logo material inside there, like if T-shirt.
That would be nice. A hat.
Property of SHIELD.
A mask. I mean, any of that kind of stuff. Like, you don't know. Instead of having SHIELD agents drop off merch to your home in a Stark Industries archive box, which I assume that's what that is, what other way could people possibly get their hands on merch?
There's still a good way for uniformed people to drop things off at your house, and that's through the U.S. mail, because we have our own merchandise with our logo on it. You can get Marvel Movie Minute stuff. You can get shirts. You can get mugs. You can get stickers. You can get magnets. For any of our shows, or this show in particular, whichever you like, you can have them delivered right to your house by the fine, hardworking men of the United States Postal Service.
Or, I mean, there are other shipping things. I think we do international shipping. I want to say yes.
I believe we do too.
DHL, UPS, FedEx, somebody's got to be involved in that.
I don't even know what the name of the mail service are in the other countries, but the hardworking people who deliver our packages, God bless them, they bring joy every day.
No.
Like an army of Santas. Father Christmases, Papa Noel.
Wherever you're listening to this episode, though,
that's right.
I mean, Christmas the holidays may have been long gone.
Well, sure. But that's the great thing about the postal workers is they work all year round delivering dreams to your door.
Oh, way to go.
Right?
You got me I'm sentimental now. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Just buy some stuff. Just go on the website, buy some.
And thank a postal carrier.
Yes, or whatever delivery service.
Or whatever delivery service you use.
I should just mention no advertising.
Kick a drone.
Yeah, no advertising royalties have been paid for us for mentioning all of these services. Just thanks to all of them.
Though we would accept it.
Yeah, if you'd like.
Because we're
talk about whichever one.
If you had not told what you just heard.
Oh boy. Thanks for buying our stuff.
So we'll be back here in minute 70 as we get into some retcons and some continuity problems and a little bit of jiggery pokery hocusy pocusy stuff here at minute 70. You do not want to miss it. Enough said.
Bye.